Okay, good afternoon again, folks. Here we are on the Moonriders tour, brought to you by ZMS, and we're on stage 2 tonight, which is a 28-kilometer run into Sobotka. Not much elevation, as you can see, 324 meters, but a bit of a kicker at the end. There's that spike in the middle, but it's when you see the profile, it's not going to really affect the riders. I don't think the stronger riders will simply big ring it up this climb. But we had some real excitement last night with the No Pins Race for Our team pushing it along all the way. Sadly, they didn't take the win after all the work they put in, but it was a pretty impressive stage. And Moonriders actually took the win last night with Wouter, who was more or less left on his own at the end. Great work from his teammates, but he really had to pull it out of the bag. I mean, he was virtually how can I say, unseen for a lot of the race. He was doing what he needed to, occasionally on the front, but he tried to stay out of the limelight, and then at the end he really hammered it, and a good win, which was nice to see. But I've been looking at the rider list, and it does appear that a lot of the No Pins Race for Our team are absent without leave tonight, AWOL, and I suspect that's because there's the Racing League over on the other platform. So a good chance here for Moonriders to cement the placing at the top of the leaderboard, and then we'll have to wait and see whether the No Pins boys come back and contest it or not. But I imagine they will want revenge after last night. They put in all the work, and to not get the win must have stung. So we have got Matt Looker here tonight, I think, have we? Or is he? Yes, we have. I can see him in the start list. So he's probably their strongest rider, and he'll certainly be looking to contend for the win tonight. But we'll wait until we see how the lead group forms up, and then I'll call out the potential contenders later on in the ride. It's a bit too early at this point, as you can see, but already we're having the same happen as what happened last night, which is it's going off fast and furious at the front. And last night we had 19 riders forming the front group. It does look like we've got more than that here, certainly more, yes. So it'll be interesting to see whether this group can stay together as a large group, or whether we see another war of attrition and riders dropping off. We will later on in the stage, but I'm talking about the start now. Almost immediately from the start they sorted out the contenders last night, 19 riders, but this is a huge group that formed up together, and when we do eventually get a closer look, you will see that all the main runners are in there. I don't think anybody's been left behind. And then I'll go through the riders that are likely to play a part tonight. From a personal point of view, and just going to the front, you can see James Ogilvie. He's the OTR head guru, the team manager, and the guy that actually set up this OTR e-racing. Nice to see him in the race tonight. And there he is on screen. 51 years of age, 73 kilos. Relatively tall at 1.78 m, but he's got a good, if you see his picture, he's got a good racing physique, and he's very experienced, this James. He's what he might lack in power sometimes he certainly makes up for in racecraft. so expect him to not be far away. Faustino, think we've seen him before, but from Portugal. That's a Portuguese flag. Now obviously we all know Franco's Kickr from Moonriders, very strong rider, and Franco's worked really well last night for Wouter. He really did a lot of work and ended up coming in lower down the field. So will he play the same role tonight, or will he have more to say? As did I think it's Daniel Schock, played a huge role in yesterday's result. Yes, it is Daniel, of course it is. And yeah, I expect Moonriders to really sort of boss this stage like No Pins Race 3R did last night. When I say boss, I mean I expect them to be there, to all the main riders, to stay with this front group until well into the race. I don't think we'll see the same tactics we saw last night, where we got the riders jumping off the front and taking turns to sort of like try and stretch the elastic and break it. And that was the No Pins team, the Race 3R. The tactics last night were very good, I have to say, but sadly it didn't come off for them. Moonriders spoilt the show right at the death. But it was a good race, and if you haven't seen it, I suggest you check out the ZMS stream, or you can go to my channel, Derek Bucock, and it's on there. The full ZMS stream is on there. As we see James once again put, and this could be, you know, James could well have said to his team, okay, let's try similar tactics tonight. Let's see if we can put out a decent field. I mean, I know Mike Adie's a strong rider, as you can see with James. So maybe they will try a similar tactic. But as it gets further into the race, let's see what happens. I think Paul Pudell, who's another strong OTR rider, is riding tonight, although I don't see him at the moment. But yes, he is. I do see him. There he is, on the right hand side of the screen, just coming up to the front group as he switches to the other side of the road. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Still a huge group as we watch Henry Fowle from Moonriders, and he's on the he's in the Zoom room on the webcam, which is really nice to see. I do wish more riders would do this, because it verifies their performances and it's good. It makes for good TV. Portowski, he's a very strong climber as well, the Polish rider. He's riding in, I think, the Team Lou strip, as we look at Henry Fowler. Now, we got a good look at Henry last night. He had a good ride for Moonriders. He's only a youngster, 31 years of age. Small guy, 1m73 and 63 kilos. So, perfect climbing weight. Who else we got here? We've got Olaf Stanner, the OTR rider, another good rider. Is he OTR? I think, no, he's not OTR, sorry, my apologies, the Canadian. He's actually, I think he's wearing the, is it the Decathlon jersey he's wearing, so I'm not quite sure which team he's affiliated with. I do make notes on riders, and whenever possible, if I don't know either a rider's team or I don't know a rider's name, I make pencil and paper notes, and I do aim to find out for the next race. But invariably then, you know, some of the riders that we see for the first time, they don't end up turning up again in the next race. It's usually a couple of races down the line, but it's nice to see riders coming on board, trying the series, and hopefully they will join more. As we look at another OTR rider, and he's in the Zoom room, Ryan Dummer. He was in last night as well, putting out over 400 watts you saw there as he comes on the outside, but now taking advantage of the draft. There's nobody really pushing this on the front like we had last night, so I suspect you can see the profile. I don't know why the paddle seems to be stuck at the start though. That seems a bit strange for me. I do know that sometimes the graphic along the bottom of the screen that shows the dots locks up and you have to switch it on and off, or you used to have to switch it on and off via the phone app. So maybe that's what's happened here. Maybe the white dots we normally see, which tells us where people are on the course, maybe that's not working at the moment. As we look at Ryan's figures, he's a tall guy at 182, 82 kilos, so he's certainly not what you could call a lightweight, but he's young and he's a strong rider. So I expect him to do a lot of work for the OTR team tonight in the later stages. Now, is it beginning to sort itself out? Are we beginning to see a thinning down? No, it doesn't look like it. And nobody really is... I mean, we got this Faustino fellow on the front, but nobody really is pushing the pace. Last night they were jumping, well, the No Pins Race 3R team were jumping off the front, you know, almost on every turn. It was crazy. But it was a good tactic because there's no doubt about if they had broken the elastic and got a rider away, it would have been done and dusted. Stuart Murray, now he was in the Zoom room last night but had issues and we couldn't see him on screen, so tonight he's got it working, as you can see. Again, as I say, nice to see. I love to see paint cams, especially in the closing stages as well. I mean, we had the winner of the Tour des Alpes, John Beams. He used his webcam throughout the tour, and it was just fantastic to see him on some of the stages absolutely killing himself, you know, really putting in an effort, as you can see Stuart doing here. And there he is on the front of the group, and you can see the effort he's putting in. So yeah, I think that's John Smith that's just gone off the front. There he is, 31 years of age, 1.74 m and 78 kilos. Now then, Mike Aid. As I say, the OTR, this might be the tactic that the OTR boys are trying to use tonight, but I don't think they have enough riders for this to work. One rider that you can see is absolutely staying out of the action, and in fact I haven't seen him at all yet, is Wouter Klaas. So I don't know what's happened to him. I hope there isn't a problem. I hope he's here somewhere. But that would be typical of Wouter, to be honest. Staying out of the action, letting all the... There he is. I say that, and now he's on the front. So he's wearing the leader's yellow jersey, as you can see. Leader in the standings. But Wouter's a very, very canny, as well as being a very strong rider. He's a very canny rider. He'll know what he has to do. And he won't want the limelight early on in the race. He'll want to save his energy until he has to use it and let his teammates do the work. If I seem to be a fan or a fanboy of Wouter, it's because I watched him every stage in the Tour de Alps, and the work the guy put in and the way that he conducted himself throughout that tour, pulling himself up the rankings, and on some occasions absolutely giving 200%, never mind 100, was just absolutely fantastic to see. And so he's become one of my favourite riders to watch, I'll be honest. Him and John Beams, I think, both out of the same mould. As we look at Matt Lucker, the no pins race 3R rider, and he's a class act, is Matt. I said this last night. He won't have enjoyed being pulled over last night, so maybe he'll be out for revenge tonight. We'll see. Now Gav, I picked Gav as last night's winner, and I had Wouter as my second choice. So I got it wrong last night, and I'm not going to pick my winner until we get a lot further into the race, because it's way too early now. But Gav is a very strong rider. Doesn't seem to have any teammates to work with though, which is a bit of a shame. Maybe OTR should poach him. Sorry, I shouldn't say things like that. OTR being my team, folks, so I'm making a bit of a joke there. But as Christoph sends us our first message, happy race all and be strong, Danny, on the last hill. Yeah, Christoph is a class act as well. I wonder why he's not taking part in this race. Maybe he will in the upcoming stages help out. I don't know. He rode really well in the Tour de Alps, so it would be nice to see him taking part. Now, who's this we've got off the front? I think it's Hartveld. Yeah, Hartveld. Now he's one of the few Dutch riders riding tonight. He had a bit of a showing last night, but then fell back towards the latter end of the race. So it'd be nice if he can stay the course. But it was, I mean, last night was horrendously tough in terms of the war of attrition that went on. The 3R boys knew what they were doing. They were deliberately trying to drop riders, and in fact they even stated in the chat that when there were 9 riders left that they wanted to drop the last 5 because there were 4 no pins riders in the last 9 last night, and they still didn't take the win. So yeah, that will have given them extra motivation for tonight. As you can see, 3 no pins race 3R riders in this group. And how many moon riders have we got? It looks like we got 3 moon riders, we got 3 OTR, so it's well spread, folks. In fact, it looks like we might have 4 OTR, so well spread, well shared out, this one. This is Ryan we're watching now. He'll just be settling in. So how many have we got in this front group? Let's have a look. We go down to 17th at the moment. Maybe 17. Have we got 17 riders, or have we got a few more? Now I've just seen Steve Brearley for the first time, and I mentioned Steve last night. He's a really strong workhorse. He really is. He's one of the best team riders that I know in terms of giving everything for his teammates, sometimes to the detriment, because he's a strong enough rider to take the races on his own, but he just generally absolutely kills himself for his teammates. As we see Peter Brook-Ravel pulling back shock along with Gav. I think that's, yeah, Gav Ash on the front. And Peter's a real class rider as well. From Berkshire in the UK, 53 years of age, so the Masters category. But very impressed with the way Peter conducts himself and his racing. He's another really good team player. Rather tall at 185 and 78 kilos. You know, that's about right for somebody of his height. But they'll still be feeling each other out at the moment. I don't think anybody wants to, as you can see, Steve is just nicely tucked in. He's a very, how can I say, very knowledgeable with his racecraft, is Steve. He'll be doing all he can to save his energy here. Like he's not wanting to go on the front and pull it along. It's just saving his energy. We watch Ryan going up on the outside and just tucking in on the wheel again. I don't know who this Faustino is affiliated with. I will look him up at the end of this event. I'm not going to try and go away at the moment and look at web pages, purely and simply because I think we're getting to the halfway point here. That was the halfway banner, the yellow banner you just saw them going under. And so this is going to get exciting now, because they're going to be looking at around this point to try and thin down this group. So expect to see, and especially as you can see, they're going up the, I just wish the graphic on the bottom of the screen was working, folks, because you would actually see that they're going up this slope, and in fact they've just crested it. They'll be on the down slope very soon. And I would expect some of the bigger riders to start pushing it along here as we watch Ellis and Mike Aid, the OTR rider, have been dropped off the group. They're down in 22nd and 23rd place respectively. We've got it working now. So yeah, now what's probably happened here is Damon from ZMS has probably flicked the button, like I said. What you do is you flick the GUI for the elevation on and off, and it usually fixes this bug that seems to happen where it sticks. So we've got it working now, and you can see where the paddle is, and you can see the riders are actually on the climb. I thought they'd maybe crested it, but I'm glad to see it's working now. As we watch Hartveld, Stratford on the front. Frankos is there, he's kept relatively quiet. In fact, all your main contenders are here really. You can clearly see, there's Stratford, but Team Lou, but you can clearly see Matthew Stratford. Yeah, I should have remembered Matthew. I watched you before. And you can clearly see that this is going to come down to team tactics later on in the stage, because all three teams, when I say all three, I'm meaning Moonriders, No Pins, Race 3R and OTR all have riders in numbers in this front group, and we'll try to maintain those riders. I didn't expect anybody to try and push off the front on this climb, to be honest. I did expect them to stay together, and I don't think it'll be until we get into the sort of like flatter sections or even the downhill sections that we will see riders trying to take a flyer off the front, which is unusual. Normally you will see riders trying to break away on the climbs, but with this kind of field and the climb not really being steep enough, I mean, all these riders are probably big ringing it up this climb. It's only what, 5% at its strongest, so yeah, I wouldn't expect them to have any difficulty. Now you can see the final Kickr does actually go into the deep red, so we may get that may well be a bit of a stinger, and it may well be, you know, like a 10% or so, which could have an influence on the finish for the race, because a pure sprinter is not going to be happy having to go up that kind of a Kickr at the end. We shall see. I do know that Matt Lucker is pretty handy, pretty nifty on the uphill finishes. So if he's there, and I expect him to be towards the end of this stage, then here we go. Here's the rider zoom room look. So we've got Dummer, Ryan Dummer, we got Stuart Murray and Henry Farrell. Yeah, there we go. Henry's showing off his chest. Ryan's the one on the left hand side. He's probably just adjusting his fan, looking like he's really suffering. Whereas Stuart looks like he's, you know, he's working, but he looks like the one most in control. As we watch Gav pushing it along at the front. Now, what I said to you will probably come true here, folks. I genuinely think that this is where the action is going to happen. When they finish the climb, this is where riders are going to just have a look and see, okay, let's see who wants to go with me as I push it down this downhill or on this flat. As we see Stratford running off the front, closely marked by Steinley from 3R. They'll all be wanting to take advantage of the draft, and if anybody gets a little bit of a gap, then we may well see them opening up the legs. Otherwise they're just going to be happy to try and save something. Now how many? We've got 12 riders in this front group, and then a little bit of a gap to Franco's Iker. And to be fair to Franco's, I don't see him getting back on. You can see Faustino, the guy that was doing all the early work, he's been dropped as well, and again, that's no surprise. But I don't see, sadly, the Moonriders rider Franco's getting back on. What tends to happen when, and certainly if it's flat or downhill, when riders are dropped off a group like this, absolutely motoring, it's very unlikely you're going to see them be able to get back on, unless there's a significant number of them all together, and then there's a possibility. But if there are only one or two or three, as you can see here, they're not going to get back on, because the pace of, you know, like 12 riders in this case is far higher than what these riders will be able to negotiate. I mean, yes, it would be nice if we can see this group grow and they start to pull back a few meters, but in reality, James and his crew here and Ryan, sadly OTR boys, are not going to get back to the front of the race. And I think, can we have 12 in that front group, but by the time we get back to them, it could have slimmed down even more, because there's no doubt that these riders are pushing on now, as I said they would. You can see the OTR rider jumping, and that's Peter. And I said earlier, Peter's a real workhorse. Don't know much about Hartveld, the Dutch rider. He's another rider which I'm making notes of now, and I will definitely have a look into. See what we can find out about him. Have a look at some of his results, because he looks a handy rider. I don't know much about Stratford either, the Team Lou rider, so I'll check him out as well. I know Bergqvist very well, and this is the first time I've mentioned him. So Bergqvist has managed to stay under the radar, out of the way, and this is the first time he's got a mention tonight. And that like I said last night with a couple of riders, that's clever riding. If you can stay out of the way and you're not even mentioned by the commentary team, it means that you're doing a good job. As we see Wouter on the front, and the other riders just letting him go on the front, but Wouter was canny enough just to, you know, just to say, nope, I'm not going to ride on the front for you guys. He's way too experienced to do that sort of nonsense. We can see Henry Fowler is still up there, and there's his. Now he looks good. He looks well in control here. Looks like he knows what he's doing. Just you saw him just taking a drink there. So I expect Henry to be helping out his teammate Wouter here. And how many we've got? We've still got the 3 no pins race for our riders here tonight, so I'd be a little bit concerned about that. But Moon Riders obviously know what they're doing. They're trying to stretch the elastic. Whether they'll manage to break it or not, I don't know. I think this is going to come down to that. I don't see anybody breaking away before that last climb, but if a rider can get a decent gap going into it, and he is, you know, he's a punchy style of rider, then the climb is the place to break away. But it'll be a bit of a gamble, to be honest, and I can't call this one at the moment because just there's too many for one thing, and everybody's looking good. Everybody's looking strong. I don't think there's a weak rider in this group of 11 riders. As we see Matt Looker on the back. I think it's 11. Might still be 12, but I think it's 11 now. I think they've managed to shed another rider. And here you can see the map showing the route. And you can see from this side on profile, as well as the one on the bottom of the screen, but you can see from this side on profile, just look how steep that last Kickr is. I mean, that's got to be at least, I would say that's at least a 10%er, and it's only short. It's only maybe 2 kilometers at most, if that, but that's going to hurt. And as the action is sort of like hotting up a little bit, let's talk about the Tour du Monde 2022, which goes on the 8th of January till the 23rd. Now OTR ran it for the first time last year, and I covered almost every stage on my channel. You can check out some of the videos. OTR put in a fantastic performance. Their team tactics in some of those stages were a joy to behold and commentate on. And it really introduced me to the OTR team on RGT, and at that time I was with Team 3R, who I'd brought across from Swift, but they put on a great job, and I helped them with some of the commentary and some of the streaming some of the stages, and I can't wait for it to come back now that I've joined OTR, and I'm going to be part of not just the commentary team but part of the media team as well surrounding the event, along with Paul Nichols and James Ogilvie and a few others. I'm really looking forward to it. I know Damon from ZMS is going to be covering that event, so I'll be doing commentary for Damon at ZMS as well as doing commentary on my own channel. So it's going to be a fantastic tour, folks, and one that you shouldn't miss, because I rate it as probably the premier tour on RGT. Having said that, we've just had the Tour de Alps, which was absolutely phenomenal. But you can see that nothing really much is happening here. This is going to kick off when we get to the climb. We might have an odd burst from riders before then, but I think they'll be saving the powder. As we just see Wouter just ease into the front, look. But look how sensibly, once he's at the front, he just eases that wheel back, slows down his cadence, and lets the other riders come past him. As we watch the 3R rider Stanley at the front. Now he's above threshold at the moment, so this is a proper effort to try and pull the group apart. It's not going to work, I don't think. Although 4 riders have got a little bit of a gap. I was going to call it a 10-meter gap, but it's coming down. But yeah, now you can see that Wouter has actually jumped off the front here because of the 4 riders that were pushing the pace along. But I don't think he's going to keep this going. It's too far to that hill. So he's going to allow them. Yeah, he's easing up. You can see his pace is dropping 2.9. Very good tactics from Wouter, because he knows he can't go so far from the line. That would never stick with riders of this caliber chasing him. This is going to be a pretty exciting finish, folks. So don't leave your seats, don't go for a coffee, because with 3.3 kilometers to go, this is going to go to the wire. I'm convinced of it. And look at Matt Looker at the back, trying to take maximum effect of the draft and do as little work as possible. Now he's got to be careful he doesn't get caught out, but I think he's way too savvy for that. But you can already see that a small group has jumped. So you've really got to be so careful here. I don't think they're worried. I think the group behind, you can see that these 5 riders, well, 4 riders, 1 in the middle, and the 1 in the middle is going to help the group behind get back on. You can see Lyndon Poco. And that's the first time we've mentioned him tonight. So he's stayed quiet. But I think he did much the same last night. He worked really hard, and then towards the end was struggling to hang on. I'm not saying he's struggling now, but he's another rider that hasn't been mentioned. So yeah, could have a lot left in his legs. But look at Wouter just chasing the wheels, just finding the best wheel, getting in the middle. Look, he really does know his stuff. Now we're approaching the base here. I wouldn't expect him to kick. I would expect it, yeah, and that's what he's doing. Just easing up. He went from 4 watt kilos to 3, just easing up enough to let the group catch him nice and steadily. You can't ease up too much, because if you do, they just go sailing past you. So what you do is you just gradually reduce your watt output and find a wheel to jump onto, like he's done here. He's in second spot on Farrell's wheel. And that's his teammate. So Farrell's leading him out. And here we are on the climb, and it won't kick off yet until we get to, you can see that the climb is divided. It starts with orange, then it starts to go into a reddy colour. Then you get a little bit more orange, and then it starts to go deep red. And I think it's going to kick off after we've done the second section of orange, after it starts in the deep red. That would be where I'd attack if I was, well, I'm not of these guys' caliber, but if I was racing against my peers, that's the point where I would choose, being a climber, to jump. As we watch Gavash now pulling on the front. Now, he was my pick last night, but got turned over. I'm not going to pick him again tonight, because I'll be honest, I think this is going to come down to a race between two riders. I do genuinely believe Wouter will take his second win tonight, because I know he's got a really good kick on him. But I would expect Matt Lucker, who also has a very good uphill kick, to come through and challenge. But Steve Brealey doesn't want to be discounted, the workhorse. And he's there in third place, as you can see. Now we're going up, I said it was about 1 kilometre. So here we go, the 1 kilometre to go. And this is the point, folks, they're just getting to that orange section I told you about. Now as it kicks up again, that I believe is where we're going to see riders kicking. So any time now, we're going to see the riders explode, as we watch Hartveld putting out 6.2 watt kilos. There's Stratford, the Team Lou rider. Wouter is basically marking Steve Brealey, just quite happy at the moment. He won't want to let Gavash get too much of a gap, because Gavash is a very strong rider. I'm a bit surprised that Matt Lucker he looks to be cruising here. What's the problem? Is he saving himself? Is he being pulled along by his teammate? That's a strange tactic. But there's enough time yet at 500 metres to go, but I don't know. Gav with a 16 metre gap, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think once my money's still on Wouter, who's in 4th place at the moment. But it does look like he's being dropped. Can he get back? But Gav is looking, I mean, I picked Gav last night and he didn't win, and Wouter was my 2nd place. Is it going to be am I going to sort of like here we go. He's looking strong, you know. 190 metres, 170. Stratford's caught him, the Team Lou rider. And Stratford's going past. 9.4 watt kilos, folks. Looking, oh, he's got this. He's got this. Nobody's going to catch him. He's got this. There we go. Stratford takes the win for Team Lou. There's the finish. There he goes. Well done. What a good race. And you see, Stratford was another rider totally under the radar. Hartveld 2nd. Gavash came in 3rd and Wouter in 4th. Now, that may be good enough to leave Wouter at the top of the standing. Steve Brealey 5th, the workhorse. Farrell, Moon Riders in 6th. So, I'm trying to calculate, but Yeah, a few surprising results for me tonight. Maybe that was just too steep for the likes of Looker. I know he's good on the uphill finishes, but this was a proper climb, so maybe he didn't like it. As we see Daniel Shop coming in, Peterbrook Ravel. But Stratford, just like I say, one of the riders that stayed under the radar. And if you are getting into this racing lark and riding with a group, that's what you need to do. You need to save as much energy as you can by just staying off the front, hiding the pack, then do the work as we watch Franco coming in. Well done, sir. Now we're going to hang around. We don't have as many riders as we had last night, but we have got a good few riders here tonight. But we're going to hang around, I think. Damon won't mind me asking. We're going to hang around and watch all the riders coming in. And you can see from the white dots, I think that's the camera we can see right at the very end, but hopefully we can see the last riders on the course. And providing we're not waiting an inordinate amount of time, we'll watch every rider coming in. As we watch. Roy Neal just taking Ryan on the line. And doesn't he look spent, folks? That's one of the reasons why I love to see paint cams. You know, riders using a webcam to show them in their pain caves, because you can't hide. This is my boss, James, the founder of OTRE Racing. And what a fantastic job he's done. I mean, and I'm not just saying this because I'm now with OTR. And Paul from Germany, Paul Podell. But James has done a wonderful job with OTR on this platform. I mean, the OTR events now are seen as like the premium events for RGT. The tours they put on. I mean, I was pretty proud when I ran a tour called the Tour of Sicily, which really had a good turnout and a good take-up. And I put a lot of work into that. And that's why I think James was quite happy to invite me to OTR. And hopefully we can all work together, and certainly I think in the upcoming Tour du Monde in the new year, we'll really have some good media for you. As we watch Ellis coming in from Dad's Dirt ride, I think. Mike Aid, the OTR rider. I mean, it must be hard when you lower down the field and you're having to fight like this when you've been dropped from the main group. So full credit to all the riders that finished these stages. I have nothing but the utmost respect. As we watch Lars Reitz coming in. I've seen him before. I love his jersey. I don't know which jersey it is, but I do like it. something I will check out when I'm commentating, and I can zoom in and have a look at the jersey. And Karol Palowski. This is it either is a 4? Well, it says is a 4, but I think it's either is a 4. Mike Wareham. Putting in a big effort to finish. Well done, sir. Poniatowski, the Moon Rider. As I say, a good rider. Surprised to see himself just gets pipped by Horgan from No Pins 3R. Vieira, know this rider quite well. From Portugal. Eduardo. Masters category rider. We've seen him a fair bit in some of the other events. And Lamont. So we're just looking at the standings now. We've got the first 30 up on screen. Obviously this tour is running over 3 days a week, folks, and that's Monday, Tuesday and Friday. Now I suspect that the reason it's running like that is because of other events probably taking place on the calendar. So I'm afraid you have to wait a couple of days until Friday and we resume coverage. But tonight's event, I think we did very well with the turnout, but we didn't see a stronger team turnout from the No Pins 3R folks, purely and simply because over on Swift they had the Racing League taking place tonight, and that's why we had some riders AWOL would be over there riding, which is a bit of a shame, but hopefully on Friday we can see a larger turnout and more big hitters coming along as well. Not that we haven't had big hitters tonight, we have, but I think you may well see more of a team game on Friday as we watch David Alves coming in. Nice high cadence, look at that, 108. Another Portuguese rider, and Rohan. A rider that seems to be stuck on the side of the road, unless he's just taking a breather, got a cramp or something. As we watch Taylor catching him. Now he's not showing any wattage, so maybe he's said to himself, beggar this. And this is Ed Taylor, another Masters rider. That's what M in the brackets means, folks. It means he's a Masters rider. And RGT is a really good platform for Masters racing. There's a lot of events that suit the Masters, and there's a lot of very good Masters riding around on RGT. But one of the other things that really strikes me about RGT as well, and something which I've taken part in myself, is the number of events that target like lower rated cyclists or cyclists recovering, or cyclists that, you know, that, like for example the Flemish series, which is capped at 3.2 watt kilos. But there's lots of that kind of, as we watch, I'm not even going to try and the next Moon Rider coming in. I'm not going to try and pronounce that name. And here's Stuart in his pain cave, finishing off for OTR, just being taken on the line. Oh no, he's not. No, he's holding off Chong. Chong just pips him on the line. That was a bit naughty, Chong. I think Chong's from New Zealand, looking at the flag. Stuyvenbergen, from the Netherlands, and he's been followed by another rider from the Netherlands, Van Brekel. So 2 Dutch riders coming in together. For those that don't know, that's where I am at the moment. I've been living in the Netherlands for the last 5 years, so it's now become my home. I have actually been given my citizen's permit, so I'm actually a citizen of the Netherlands. There we go. I think I've seen Pedrix. Yeah, Oliveira. I thought I had. I've seen Pedrix before. Another Portuguese rider. We do seem to have a lot of Portuguese riders on this platform. That's one thing I will say. And Spanish riders for that matter. Although not so many Spanish riding tonight. I haven't... we watch Guy coming in. The German rider Orenuk. There we go. We're nearly at the end now, folks. Zofsik now, what's that flag? Is that a Czech flag? I think it's Czech. So putting in a fresh old effort, as you can see by his red figures. Nice way to finish. And over the line. Then we've got a couple of riders after we watch Doosan coming in. We've got, and it looks like he's another. I'm pretty sure it's a Czech flag, that one. So this is another Czech rider coming in. And then we've got Gilbert and, oh, they were close together. It looks like they're having a bit of a fight. So another rider putting in above threshold effort as he approached the line. And the French rider Gilbert. We've seen him a few times. But yeah, I think if we had to choose a nation for the most riders, I think Portugal would be well up there. As we watch Gilbert going over the line, because we've got Calvario here from Portugal, then we've got Nicholas, but then lower down I can see Costa, and I think Costa is the Portuguese rider, is the last rider on the road as we look at Loic Nicholas from Belgium, and he's being followed by another Belgian rider, Lewis. Here we go. And again, a above threshold effort to kick off his finish, Fabrice. I like it when the names come on screen, folks, because like I say, I keep a pen and paper, and he's just been overtaken by a Leandro. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think Urco is our first Spanish rider that I've called tonight. I could be wrong, but I don't recall seeing another Spanish rider. And he's going above threshold, so must have a cup of tea waiting for him. Although I don't think the Spanish are well into the tea, are they? Spent a lot of time out there cycling out in Spain. I love the country. and yeah, I've spent quite a few weeks on training camps, actually doing a bit of coaching myself out there. So we've got what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 riders to come in. We've got Leendo here, then we've got Lewis, Ian Hurst from No Pins, Race for R, and then I think is it Terry Costa? Yeah. And then once we get the riders in, don't log off, folks, because we're going to bring up the map and show you Friday's stage. I'm hoping we're going to get a climber stage in this tour, but I'll be honest, I haven't seen all the stages, so it's going to come as a bit of a surprise to me as well. I am going to be commentating on all 6 stages. So this is the second, we've got 4 more to go, 1 on Friday, and then we're back Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll be doing the last stage a week Friday. But we'll have the results if Damon can get the results to me, the results list, or anybody else. I can actually post them when I do a video edit and add them to the end of the video. We watch Ian Hurst coming in. And last rider on the road, I think this is Terry Costa. And Tanya, I apologise, Tanya. I thought it was Terry, T-E-R-R-I, but it's Tanya Costa. And Tanya's the first lady I've seen tonight. So it would be nice if in these series I mean, we've got some amazingly strong ladies on RGT, and we saw that in the recently passed Tour du Alps tour, which finished last week. Amazingly strong ladies, and I don't know why they don't do more racing in these tours. And maybe race organisers, if you're listening, I mean, certainly we had in the Tour du Alps, but I believe any tour should have a men's classification and a separate ladies classification or women's classification. We made a pretty big deal of it during the Tour du Alps because we want to try and encourage the ladies to take part. Tanya goes up this last steep climb. And it does look like the paddle once again is stuck. What I mean by the paddle is, once again, on the bottom of the screen you can see the profile, the green and the red and the orange bits, and that white paddle that you can see, which is the finisher, well, that can be changed to the rider in view, and show their position on the road. And what you normally do is you normally toggle it, and then you can watch not just the leaders' dots on the road, but you can watch riders further back in the field, specific riders. Here we go. So what's just happened there, folks, the way to fix it, if this happens to you, if you're riding along and you don't see the white paddle moving, you know, if you're following other riders or using spectator view, all you have to do is turn it on and off. Turn the GUI, elevation GUI, on and off, and you'll get it working again. It's a known glitch. It was a glitch in the last version, and it's obviously a glitch in this version. There you go. You toggle it on and off, and it shows you where the rider is. Well, it does look like Damon's having a struggle with it at the moment. But there you go. You can clearly see it working here in the live view. And it's something which I picked up on very, very early, because I use it a lot. When you're commentating on a race and you've got a lot of riders in the race, it's a really good way of making sure you not missing the action as Tanya goes under the 1 kilometre to go banner, the Flamme Rouge. But it's a really good way, folks, of making sure that you don't miss any action, because you can watch a rider in the middle of the field or further down the field, but you can also keep an eye on the dots out front. And for example, if you saw 2 or 3 dots all together, so that basically tells you that 3 riders are riding together, and then all of a sudden, while you're following other riders further down the course with the paddle, you actually see a big gap between, you know, 2 of the riders and 1 of the riders. You know that somebody's broken away, and so you switch the action immediately back to that part of the race, you know, by using the up and down keys or the go to the front, go to the back keys. And that's what I do, and I use it a lot when I'm actually covering races in spectator mode. Now, I've not done that since the new app, because obviously it was only released yesterday, but I do look forward to possibly covering an event either tomorrow or Thursday, just a practice event prior to returning on Friday to cover this tour. Other news to mention, and I'm sure ZMS won't mind me doing this because we are affiliated with OTR, but OTR have a news program now every Monday round about mid-afternoon, round about lunchtime, mid-afternoon. There's an OTR news program. It's going to be about 30 to 45 minutes in length, and what it will do is it will round up all the action from OTR tours, all the events that are coming up, and also something which I don't mind doing at all is if other race organisers want to shout out, just get the information to me, to James, to Paul Nichols, any one of us, get the information to us, and we'll gladly put a shout out for your events. If you've got any graphics, we'll put them up on screen as well. So it's an OTR news show, but it's not just for OTR. It's to benefit the whole RGT community, which is something I'm pretty big on. That's the whole point of me broadcasting, to be honest. Now Tanya's almost finished here, 560 metres to go. I said it topped out at about 10%, and there you can see she's on the 9.8. So yeah, I was right when I said I thought it went up to about 10%. So she's nearly there now. An hour's riding, the legs have got to be hurting. And to finish with, you know, a steep little kicker like this can't be easy. But well done for sticking it out. Nice cadence, nice high cadence. 82, 83, so she's obviously got a nice rhythm going. and another rider, folks, from Portugal. So like I say, I think they've had the most riders in this tour this evening. I could be mistaken, I'll check later, but I think so. And then as soon as we get Tanya coming over the line, we'll check out the map for stage 3, which happens on Friday. And another bit of news to mention again, folks, is that this race, you'll be able to find the link to the ZMS live stream on Facebook, in the groups, but then probably sometime around tomorrow afternoon I'll do an edit of this video, add a couple of bits and pieces, and then we'll post that on my stream as well. So you have 2 ways of finding this live stream, and that's through the ZMS portal and also through my YouTube channel. I really enjoy this partnership that we've got going with ZMS, because certainly it's to OTR's benefit in terms of getting our series out there and getting a good audience as well. I think this software that Damon uses, I mean, just look at the quality of the graphics here, and I mean, I can read even when he's got the like 4 window view up on screen. The resolution is so good that I can even read the tiny writing, and I've got terrible eyesight. I have to wear huge glasses when I'm trying to read off screen, as you've probably seen in some of my news programs. And the fact is, I can even see this writing sometimes without my in fact, I haven't got my glasses on at the moment. So the resolution is superb, and it just looks so nice in ultra. The new app actually looks clearer than the old. Whether it's because they've tweaked the resolution or what they've done, I don't know. As we watch Tanya roll over the finish line, well done, lass. And that, folks, is it. That's the end of the race, officially, with Tanya coming in Lantern Rouge. Now what we'll do is have a quick look at the results, and then we'll pull up the map of stage 3, which is going to take place on Friday, same time, 8:30 my time, which is CET, 7:30 PM or 19:30 GMT. A great result tonight by Matthew Stratford. So here we go, 24 kilometers, but a decent amount of elevation. So 703 meters, you can see there, 703 meters of elevation. Let's have a look. There you can, yeah, you can see. So it's another uphill finish, folks, and there's a couple of hairpins on it. One, I count 3 hairpins, and it's definitely an uphill finish. Winterberg. So I'm looking forward to that one, and we'll see you back on Friday. Please join us in the studio. and we'll call it a night at that. Take care everybody, stay safe, and thanks for watching. As I say, you can check out the video on the Facebook groups, and also check out my YouTube channel. Hit a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed for more content, and we'll catch you in the next one on Friday. Take care folks, bye for now.